Okay. What I'm doing right now is I'm with Matt Sherman. He's in Arizona, and we're recording this to show as an example of how you'd set up an interview with me for Podcasters Home or Timelines. And let me tell you a little, as you evolve in your podcast, let me tell you some of the things I've done with my podcasting, which I think is a good practice. So first of all, let's figure out what I've done is I dropped the link to Podcasters Home /interview. You can find that on any of my web pages. I build web pages. So I've linked those on all my web pages to do interviews. So if you would just roughly fill it out, it doesn't have to be an expert. Put in your links, your websites as much as possible, but just don't schedule anything. I haven't got a scheduler on there. No need to schedule because we just manually schedule today since this is on the cuff. But I'm looking for people like yourself who have like an ATR 2100. That's perfect. That's 95% of the solution.
That's so exciting.
You see my Heil PR40. That's the step up. But I'll tell you what, I've got all sorts of ATR 2100s, and I use those in the field.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I just got it yesterday, actually.
Wow.
After returning a blue ice snowball. Not a good mic.
I use this, though. I use this for something.
The Yeti's good. The Yeti's a great mic.
Yeah. This is your backup. This is how you do your webinars, things like that. So that's actually good. I should have a green screen back here, not black, because there's too many problems, and you can do so much more with the green screen. But but let's drive on real fast. So you go to that, fill that out.
Okay.
But do not schedule a time, but just fill it out. And I've got phone number in there, website, and anything you want to write in the bio, you can just cut and paste in there. It doesn't have to be expert. Just drop something in because we can work on that later. So you need really you don't need your Skype address anymore, but I'd like to have it if you got one.
I mean, I do have one. I haven't used Skype in 5 years.
You know what? Unfortunately, I've got it tagged right now. I'll have to turn that tag off as a requirement because
I have one. So
I've used what I used in the past is Call Recorder. But I'll tell you what, I think this is the way to do it. Now, what I have to figure out is how, when it records, it can face us at each other. Because right now, the last one faced us away from each other. So I'm not sure how to do that. I wonder if I can move. I don't think I can move this around on the.
So are you saying flip the screen on?
No, like for example, my camera. I've got a 920 right now. Now you're using your Mac, right?
Yeah, I'm on my Mac.
MacBook Pro or some sort.
MacBook Pro, which I do have a camera, which I want to figure out how to use for this. But
what do you have? What kind of camera do you have?
It's a what is it?
920.
A T3i.
Okay, I'm not familiar. I recommend the Logitech 920 or the 930. I have a 930 right now.
Okay.
I do streaming video for groups and clubs, and I get paid a little bit of money.
Cool.
Like at the casinos here in Reno, and it's kind of neat. And I use the 930 with my laptop, and I just do it, and I hook it up to their PA system through a little mixer. So there's a lot of fun in this business. But you know what? Marketing's where it's at. And as I grow, I want to try to contract out work like I used to as a general contractor. But I do believe that you need to understand the components of everything in your business. You have to understand WordPress, things of that nature. So you're all set. You fill that out.
Yeah, I'll fill that out right after this.
And another thing too is the first thing I need to do is make sure I follow you so I can find you back on Blab. How do you find Blab? I
was on Periscope, and Ian, his handle is BDMA for Bill Durham. Bill. I don't know why it's Bill Durham, but Bill Durham Music Academy. And he said, "Hey, let's talk on Blab. I want to talk to you." What is Blab? And it's crazy that was only 7 days ago. Only 7 days.
Wow.
ago.
All right. I know it is moving fast. Hey, let's go back onto this. So you're filling that out. You're going to come on the show today at 5 p.m. This is great. I'll have 3 shows today. That's all I want to do today. 3. I might do 4 though. I might try to do 1 tonight. Invite one more person. I may try to go out and just find people off Blab. I mean, I got lucky. You have an ATR 2100 and you've got good visuals. A couple of things. Let me help you with your site. First of all, let's go on the interview. Look at the interview questions above. Can you go up online right now and look at those?
It's on it.
Okay.
Interview. Okay.
It's really fast. I make my own sites. I teach people how to use Genesis and Dynamic and make child themes and also skins so they control it themselves. I have the developers licenses. You can buy them yourself or you can go through my course. That's one thing I do on the side. I'm not getting rich doing it, but I enjoy it. But here's what you do. It's going to be a video call, but not in Skype. So disregard that. The flow of the show is going to be 3 parts. The first part is going to be about yourself, your background. What do you do? You're a student. You're studying marketing. Where do you go to school?
Arizona State.
Oh, nice. We just played you, I think, Reno.
You're about to. No, we just played.
Who did we play?
We just played Texas A&M.
Okay.
But I think we're about to play you.
UNR is very close. I live very close to downtown. The evolution. So we're going to talk about your background, about your podcast, because I break it into different elements. how I started doing this is I have a show called Timelines, which is interviewing people about their background. I've interviewed people from Guadalcanal to you name it, the business folks. It's sort of all over the place. But then what I decided to do is going to start a new show about podcasting and podcasters. But I talked to enough people in my first interviews, we decided that it wouldn't grow as large as we'd want it to grow. And we'd focus back on timelines. So what I did initially on my first podcast, to create a podcast, I did it on call recorder with Skype, and then I put it up on YouTube, and I stacked it on YouTube. So if you go up on Podcaster's Home and go to YouTube, you can see the first shows that I set up. And you can see at the top right now is just the different shows and the different people I've interviewed. And I've interviewed some really top people, Rob Walsh, Jessica Rhodes, of course. I don't know if you know who she is. These are people in the podcast community who are, top-notch folks. Jim Collins, from Gallup, and so cool. I got advice as we did this. Todd Cochran from Blueberry. Who are you using? Where are you going to host your site? Where are you going to host?
Where am I gonna?
Where are you going to host your podcast? Where are you going to?
Like, where am I going to put? I don't really know the lingo yet. Like, where am I going to put it? Really,
you got to host it. You got to have your MP3 someplace to send to the player on iTunes.
This is something we can maybe. I mean, like, I'm doing more. I thought I was under the perception that you record the podcast and you have a link that you can put it on iTunes. I'm gonna put it on my website. I want to put it on my social media profiles. Is that what you're asking?
You can do that. You can do it. You can record it on an MP3, right?
Yeah. But you probably know a better way to do it if
for $5, and I tell this to folks, for $5, you can go up on. I first of all, these guys, I really like these guys in podcasting. The community is so tight. Todd Cochran's got a great system to host. But the other one is Rob Welch over at Lipson, L-Y. And I'll show you that. Lipson, L-Y-P-S-O-N, Lipson.
Oh, yeah. I remember talking about this.
Just do the $5 account. They will talk you through it. Rob, you can email Rob, and he'll help you through it even. And just you host your MP3 there for $5. And then it feeds, and it gives you a feed, and it's the best way to do it. Then you just stick your feed on your website. Do you have a website?
Yeah, I do.
It's
just mattsherman.com.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I don't, it's not, I probably blog every 2 to 3 days. Today I'm starting this new scheduling system where I'm writing a blog every day. Yeah, so starting today, I'm going to be blogging every day, but it's just
nice looking site.
Thank you. Yeah. It's hosting it through WordPress. It's not, if you look around,
wow.
It's not very active at the moment, but it's I'm planning on making it a lot more active, especially.
That's good.
Thank you.
Really nice. Do you know what the theme is?
I can look it up.
Don't worry about it. But yeah, you got a great start.
Thank you. And I think that it took me a while for me to figure out a nice theme for WordPress that I could really understand, and I found one. And then WordPress.org. WordPress.com is decently easy. I think .org is a little harder for me.
Yeah, I think in the long run you need to transition over into org, and the reason why is that's how you monetize. And
exactly.
There's so many different. I'm on a tech show with a bunch of WordPress gurus across the world, and I'm not the guru, but I set it up for them. I bring them together, and I've learned a lot from them. It's WP Tonic. So that's you've got a good start though. I mean, you're keeping your costs down. You're a student. I know it's tough being a student. Are you from Arizona?
Yeah, from about 30 minutes that way.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And what grade are you in?
Senior. I'm almost out of here.
You're almost out of here. Lining up those jobs.
Nope. Lining up jobs for people.
So how are you going to make money when you graduate?
Yeah. So, hopefully this Fusion apps kind of takes off a little bit. And, it's going to be a kind of more of a subscription based model where, you can get all our apps for a subscription of $5 a month, 10 a month, 20 a month, whatever it is. And Fusion apps. I also Uber. I Uber every day.
It's good. How you doing?
That's how I make I like it. I like it a lot.
They say some people can make up to 100,000 Uber. Is that true?
Yeah, it's true. But wow. Yes, it's true. But that's working 80 hours a week. I mean, it's possible, but it's also, I don't use Uber for a full-time job, but luckily I have a little help from my parents. I have a little other help. I have other sources of income from things that I'm doing. So Uber, I'm not Ubering 800, 900 a month. I'm probably getting 400 a month. And it's just it works out. It's helpful,
Yeah. Here in Nevada, the special interest, the cabbies and all that stuff really, it's hard to explain the politics of Nevada, but they really clamped down on the city councils and threatening to throw them out or campaigning, and the assembly and the state actually overthrew, actually voted to allow Uber in and sort of override the pressure that the cities were getting.
Yeah.
And they, because there's such a demand from the people for Uber here.
Yeah. Uber's a pretty brilliant idea,
Yeah. And it seems to have a very good record. They vet people. I actually signed up for Uber so I could experience firsthand what to go through. And I know, they just asked for more credentials on my licensing, and I've got a really good license, and they've just set up a little sign-in place. So I'm going to try Uber just to prove it, so I can say I did it. First of all,
yeah.
And you get to meet people. You can listen to podcasts, I guess, in one ear. Not while you're driving people, but while you're waiting. So how much dead space do you have when you Uber?
You in between rides?
Yeah.
Yeah. Depends on the time, depends where I am. If I'm in Tempe and it's at 2:00 in the morning on a Tuesday, there's a lot of dead space. But if I'm in Phoenix and it's really anytime in Phoenix, there's always rides. I would say approximately in Phoenix, 2 to 5 minutes, Tempe, 10 to 15 minutes. But if it's a Friday night, or Saturday night, or during a game or during something, it's all back to back to back to back.
So you could be studying, listening, recording notes, things like that while you're waiting.
Yeah.
Memorizing.
And I read while I'm waiting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big reader.
So if you don't mind, how many hours you're working, how much you make?
Not a lot. I make probably a month probably closer to $300 a month. So it's not a lot at all. But I don't work a lot. I probably drive maybe I don't know, 3 or 4 hours. I don't know, 2 hours a day. It depends. I don't know. And some days I don't drive. Some days I drive a lot.
Do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy it? Picking people? What kind of car do you have?
A Hyundai Elantra.
Okay.
Yeah, I do enjoy it. Sometimes it gets a little boring, just sitting in the same seat for
3 hours.
For 3 hours, 4 hours.
Well, I like driving and listening to books on tape and books on my smartphone.
Yeah.
And I dated myself there, and podcasts, of course.
What are some, and just so you know, I have to hop off in about 3 minutes, but what are some podcasts that you like?
There's a lot I like.
I guess to narrow it down, what are podcasts that maybe are more business
Let me just tell
related?
you, I don't listen to it all the time, but I do like the format, and I like to listen to it from time to time. And I said, John Lee Dumas's podcast, Entrepreneur on Fire.
Oh, yeah.
He's got, and I study his website. I've watched him with his technology. There's a little story. I'm retired military, Army. He was in the, Iraq, and his platoon lost a lot of folks. So I can relate to him. I've met him. I knew him when he started his podcast. And tell you what, I don't belong to any of his. I don't belong to his Podcaster's Paradise, but I wish I'd bought into that for $1.99 when he first opened that up.
Mm-hmm.
He's really done a great job with his marketing. And he is the ultimate marketer. He is, if you want to study marketing, study John Lee Dumas. Study what he's doing. And he's contracted out a lot of stuff. And he also has Kate Erickson, who is his girlfriend, who's running Infusionsoft. And she is really the power behind the backside.
Yeah, I know. My dad used to work at Infusionsoft.
What do you do at Infusionsoft? It's a great place. I think a great place to work.
Customer. I'm really not sure.
Yeah, they have a lot of money. They had like $54 million for a startup.
Yeah, they're a cool company. I really like their vibe.
Yeah, I have a friend I use it barely. I have a friend who's studying to be one of the Infusionsoft advisors and going through that training.
Okay.
And I'm working with him. He's not a podcaster. I wish he was. But he's an interesting guy. He's an electrical engineer, was in the Air Force, and very successful in Silicon Valley. And now he's really studying the high-level Infusionsoft. You almost need a consultant to work with you to make it run right.
Yeah, and it's also to my knowledge, I might be getting Infusionsoft and HubSpot mixed together, but I think Infusionsoft is very expensive. So if you're going to invest in it, you should have someone that kind of like can.
No, Infusionsoft is the expensive product.
I think it's actually really expensive. I remember I think the basic package
about $200 a month.
Yeah,
I've got the basic product, and I can talk about that. I think in the long run, it's a great tool.
Oh yeah.
Before you start Infusionsoft, make sure you have about 50,000. Start out with MailChimp or Aweber or HubSpot. I've heard a lot of good things about HubSpot. I don't use HubSpot, but I set up my clients with MailChimp initially, which is free, and to teach them how to use Evolve to understand the mail system. Well, I'll let you go. I'm looking forward to coming back on today at 5 p.m.
And we're talking, just for clarification, so we're doing it on Blab or on another?
We're going to do it on Blab.
Okay, great.
And wait a second. Let me step one more. Make sure you send me an email no matter what, so we don't just disconnect.
Yeah, the podcaster's home, the forum that you were talking to me about.
I just put my personal email up there, folks. So that's the one that I use for like everything. I've got some other ones. I can put Bill at, this is my paid one. This is really a bad name. This is how I started my podcast, Bluff. Bottom line up front. Really bad. So, hey, good luck. I think you're doing the right thing. Before the show, one advice I give you is stay out of debt if you can. Make enough to break even. You will eventually, if you keep on doing what you're doing, you'll start making money. I make money through affiliates right now and a little bit of web work, but you'll eventually, start making money, and it doesn't go backward. It constantly builds as long as you can keep on working.
Mm-hmm. That's the plan. So yeah, we can talk about more about, we'll talk about more about that later, but it was nice talking, Bill. And also,
Matt, one thing to do
is
today go on that. This is the last piece of advice. I really didn't do very good on the interview. On the interview, I'm going to ask you what your life and success principles are. So if you go to the tab, it says success principles
on the form or success principles.
Go on Podcaster's Home, go success principles. Pick out, 7 to 8 things that you think in your life have made you successful or will make you successful. We'll label those off and we'll talk about those. It's 3 parts of the show: intro, a little bit about yourself, success principles. The final part on this is we're going to open up to questions, and we're going to talk about your contacts in your new show.
Cool.
All right, Matt. Good luck.
All right, absolutely. I'll see you. Today. Yeah, thanks. I will see you later today.
All right, take care. Well, that was a good interview. Interesting. I recorded that. This Blab is going to be interesting. I've got, while I'm on Blab, I'm actually on the back side, working up a show that I recorded earlier. And would love to get one more person today. You got to have a good camera, and you have to have a decent microphone. And would love to do a podcast today. I'm open from about 12 until 5 for a podcast today. Or even now, actually could flip over as long as we're ready. Go to podcastershome.com and you will see it. Well, I think what I'm going to do, I know that Gary Leland is sort of on right now. I'm not sure how many blabs he's probably looking at, but love to have him come up. Gary, you have an open invitation onto Timelines, the new Timeline show, to come on anytime. I watched you on with Dave Jackson in the morning, and I saw you so excited about Blab when it came up. So anyway, I'll be here. I'm going to be quiet for a second. I'm actually going to, oops, there he goes. Yay. They changed it today. Come on. I'm trying to get, Gary, oh, there he goes. Guys, I had to click it. Hey.
How are you doing?
Hi, Gary.
How are you?
Pretty good. Hey, I saw you on Dave Jackson a couple of weeks ago. I think that's how I found out about Blab.
Yeah. Him and I, we used to do a show back in 2005 together, I think.
So you have the baseball. You've made money on the digital world for a long while now, right?
Yes. I do real well.
And you've got your little, I've had a rough time. I've had it up, but I'm scared to death using, right now, using the, what is that, add-on plugin for Chrome to,
this is Cam Twist I'm using.
Cam Twist. Yeah. I've had a hard time with Cam Twist. I saw you catch right on. I saw the day that you were, putting it up and learning how to use it.
Yeah. It's just like layers, like Photoshop, basically.
For some reason though, I was getting 2 Cam Twists up there, and it was just causing some problems on my, I'm still working with it, but
yeah, you'll figure it out. It's not that technical. It's just clicking with you, and then you'll have it.
Do you draw too? I'm seeing all your colors back there.
Do I draw? Oh no, those are softball and baseball bats.
Oh, okay. From a distance. Yeah. You sell the products. I've watched your show.
Physical products. I mean,
what's that?
Anyone who makes money off a podcast sells something. I mean, there are very few people who make money off a podcast from advertising. You could probably count them all in one hand. Everybody else is like John Lee Dumas, for example. He makes his money off Podcaster's Paradise, off of his webinars, off of his books. I mean,
right.
If you look at his sheet, I think he does a monthly sheet. I've never looked at it, but from people I've talked to, if you look at it, you'll see even though it may be a lot of money, it's a very small percentage of his income that comes from affiliate programs, which would be his advertising.
His affiliates have started to go up right now, but he is making decent money on his actually being paid for his commercials on his show.
Yeah. Now, we want all our commercials for our product since we're a store. I don't
Right.
want to give up my commercials. So all the commercials on my shows are my commercials. Just like in my magazines, all my advertisements are my websites. I have 22 websites. So
believe it or not, I've studied you. What I do is I've gone online studying people who are successful with their different techniques. John Lee Dumas is one. You're definitely one. And most of them who really jump off and do well, come from a broadcasting background or another show or radio.
Yeah, which I definitely did not come from that. I just flopped into podcasting back in 2004 by complete accident.
That's when it started.
Yeah. Everybody says I was one of the first 50, but I think I was one of the first 100. So I'm not going to go that far to be 50.
I was, since 9/11, my lifestyle changed, but I was back off a deployment about 2004 and 5, and we have a small real estate company, and my wife runs that. And I looked at podcasting back then, just started watching some of the realtors do podcasting. And for me, I was just starting to dig into, we did a lot of direct mail and then the websites, but I wish I got into it back in 2004 and 5, the podcasting. And I definitely, this is before smartphones, but I would have loved to have this overseas so I could, because we had access to Wi-Fi in some of our morale centers, and you could download podcasts. My last deployment was 2004, and I remember coming home on leave on one of my deployments, and someone had an iPhone 3 next to me. As soon as I got home, I bought one for my wife. I wish I would have bought like a little MP3 player or something, so I could have downloaded podcasts.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's all I listened to. I remember back in 2005, maybe end of 2005, BBC wanted to interview me about podcasting because it was so new. And so I had to wait up till like maybe 4 a.m. or something, to be on their time schedule for their morning show. And they were asking me about podcasting, and I was talking, and they said, "What do you think podcasting is going to do to radio? How do you think that'll work together?" And I said, "I don't know. I haven't listened to my radio in 6 months, ever since I got a podcast. I haven't listened. I stopped listening to my radio in now 10 years. And when I said that, though, that I haven't listened to a podcast a radio in 6 months, they said, "Well, thanks for calling. We'll be right back." And that was the end of it.
Oh yeah. You don't want to say that.
Yeah, not on radio.
No. I'll tell you what though. I'm just watching this phenomenon because I study it, and I've got, like, if you look at my show, I've had tons of podcasts on here, but the radio now is starting to. I was looking at the numbers, and some shows are getting like huge number of downloads. Some radio shows that are national.
That world. It just took them a while to figure it out.
And they just started putting some commercials on. They didn't have commercials on initially.
I've had commercials on mine since 2006.
But they're putting separate commercials on. These are huge.
Mine are commercials. We'll be right back after this commercial break. And a commercial comes on just like a TV commercial or a radio commercial, and then I come back. I've had this conversation with people as to whether I had it this morning with some people who were talking. And so many people think you need to like do an NPR commercial, or you need to wait till the end of your show, or sell without selling. I don't understand what all that is, and nor do I care. My philosophy is, if they don't want to see my commercial, I don't care if they watch my show. What do I want to have? 1 million viewers, but I don't make any money?
Yeah.
I'd rather have 1,000 viewers and make a lot of money off of them. So if they're not willing to watch my commercial, they don't need to watch the entertainment I provide.
Right. I've started to get some affiliate money coming in, mostly from Bluehost, and then Amazon. So it does work over a period of time, but I need to go ahead and evolve the show to the next level. I've spent a lot of time. I had the time. I deployed. I came back in 2012 from Afghanistan, and I just took off some time to understand this new world that evolved. And you've seen it change. Hey, do you have time to do a podcast? 30 minutes. You do it right now.
I don't know if I do right now. We're in the middle of the workday here, and everybody's working, and we're setting up a studio for Blab over in one of the adjacent buildings.
Oh, yes. So you're driving.
So I won't be doing it at my desk anymore. I do my podcast now all on Blab. And then when I get the feeds emailed to me or the shows, like my newest one on GaryLeland.com is with, I did Friday with Jared Morris from Rainmaker. and then that feed, that file they send you, the audio is fine for using as a podcast.
I've matched it to my Skype.
Yeah.
It's as good.
It's just as good, I heard.
I did it and matched it. In fact, I may not have to do much work on that. I put it through Adobe Audition, and I probably may not even have to put it through Adobe Audition. Do very little cleanup on it.
Yeah, we've got our soundboard and our mixer set up so that we can run our commercials, intros, outros.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, we won't have to do anything when it comes. It's all ready to be uploaded. Is my goal. That I get the file from Blab, and I just send it straight over to Libsyn.
I could put a commercial in right now if I pre-recorded it on my mixer here, and that's what I probably need to start doing. So what'd you do before podcasting?
Well, I started my first website in '96. I've been in e-commerce a long time, and but I used to have to pay like $10,000 a month in AdWords, to advertise all my stuff. But now I don't spend anything in AdWords, and actually my business is up, from when I used to advertise. So all my advertising now is on my media. All my media and all my websites are just a big giant, like a wagon wheel, all pointing in towards the center of the wagon wheel, and in the wagon wheel are my store. So everything I do points to the center of the wagon wheel and to each other.
I'd love to get you on the new timelines, because one of my tracks is podcasting, and then just business and entrepreneurs, which you fit all three, plus sports.
Yeah, I don't mind coming on your show. I love doing interviews. I don't have to do. It's not my show. It's a lot easier, but this is pretty damn easy. But it's just bad timing right now. But if you want to,
where are you located?
I'm in Arlington, Texas. We could set up another time, and I'd be happy to do it. Like I said, I enjoy doing interviews. So.
No, I'd love to have you on. The sooner the better. I'm contemplating.
Did you go to our conference by any chance, Podcast Movement?
No, I went to I've gone twice now to MNX since I'm in Nevada. I didn't go to the movement. I'm actually going to because I do a podcast for these programmers. I'm going to 2 WordPress meetups this month, one in Las Vegas, one in UCLA and Los Angeles. So that's, I try to go, I've gone to, 2 podcast shows now. I used Dave Jackson's program initially to learn how to podcast.
He's got a lot of good information. He's been gathering it up there forever.
Yep. And I pay, I stay on his, I won't say how much I'm paying. It's not that much. And I just stay on it, just thanking him for providing that information.
Yeah. I think one year I sent him $100, $1 an episode for that year. I figured I learned at least that much.
I used to, that's one of the top shows that I do listen to. I don't listen. I mean, I've got so many shows. I can't listen to them all.
Yeah. It's hard to listen. I end up having to zero out a lot of them to get current again, because I have too many in my phone that I listen to. I just listened to 6 shows yesterday while I was working. I blogged JV. What's JV's podcast? Not the Eventual Millionaire. Jamie Tardy's. That's Jamie Tardy.
You get so many. Yeah, not his, but he's got one. It's The Conscious Millionaire, and I just interviewed him. He's got a fascinating background.
I'm not familiar with that show.
He's got like 250 some odd episodes. But let me put a link in here.
Yeah,
and if you could,
we can set up a time. It's just not good timing right now.
Do not use my automatic time system. What I do is I've done my podcasts on my recordings on Tuesday and Thursday, but I don't care right now this week. Blab is changing Blab's making it really easy to create a podcast.
Yeah, like I said, we're at the point now that we're just going to create our whole podcast from intro to outro on here. Matter of fact, Wednesday, not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday, we're bringing back a show I used to be on with Dave Jackson back in 2006, Today in Podcasting. It'll be on at 2:00 every Wednesday. It has Rob Walsh. I know you're familiar with Rob.
Great guy.
Cliff Ravenscraft.
Wow.
Paul Colligan. I don't know if you know Paul, but he's been doing it. He has the podcast report. He's one of the smartest people I know when it comes to marketing. But we're going to do Wednesday show at 2:00 with that crowd, those 3 and me. So if anyone's interested in podcasting, we used to do this back in, I think we had the first podcast about podcasting kind of, that was a round table, at least ways. Some people like Dave had his going on already, but first round table. And we did that in 2006 and 7. And then we were doing it at night, and Dave's on the East Coast and Paul's in Oregon, so that it was just hard to do. But we're doing it in the middle of the day, and Dave can't make it because he teaches school. So we got Cliff coming this week. I don't know if Cliff will be on there forever or not, but he's definitely coming on the first show. Which, like I said,
is Rob one of the main people on the show? Going to be on there all the time?
Rob and Paul and I are the main three. We've done every episode we ever did of the show. I think if you go,
I really like listening.
Podcasting, probably, I would assume those shows are still on iTunes.
I think I've listened to them. I know.
Yeah, they're old now, so none of the information's relevant. Podcasting's changed so much.
It changes now it's really changing. This, it'll be interesting. Rob, last time I had him on, what I was doing is I've got about 3 or 4 shows, and as I develop a show, I test it on YouTube first. And it came to the conclusion that we don't need a show called Podcasters Home. It's a bad name. So I'm combining everything under Timeline. I just call it the New Timeline Show.
That's a good name.
And keep my main program going and just feed it. I'm not your, you don't look at me to get rich on podcasting yet, but it's a slow progression of, with other services.
Right. It's just easier if you have something to sell, I think, to make a lot of money.
Yeah. What do you use well, you're selling, I know you sell softball stuff.
I sell softball equipment mainly. That's what I promote. But we're opening up now. We're building softballwebsites.com, which will be a site. So many people ask me, if I know where they can get a website built or someone to do their podcasting. So we're just going to start doing it. We did it.
You can build websites too?
Yeah, well, I've been doing it for friends on the side. And, I have over 20, so obviously I know how to do it. And
what do you use?
We're going to do all these in WordPress. Matter of fact, I'm moving my stores to WordPress. The problem with my stores are they were built before they were mobile. There was no such thing as mobile when I built all my websites. So we've been slowly but surely going through and moving them all to WooCommerce on WordPress. I love WooCommerce.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy. It's quick. I can show anyone how to use it in 5 minutes. And I think we have about 4 or 5 more to transition over to WooCommerce. And we'll have them all done. But, we do 7 figures, in softball.
Are there any themes you like?
We've been using Flatsum.
Mm-hmm.
What's this new theme we're using? What's that theme you're working on, Travis? What's that theme you're working with? That new one? And we're trying now Envision with a E. That's a new one. We're building softball websites with that.
Oh yeah, there's an unlimited number of softball clubs that need softball websites.
Yeah, we'll be going more after like associations and leagues and people who do training, coaches that do private coaching. We're doing right now a website for, you probably don't know her, Dot Richardson. She's like hit the first home run in the Olympics for softball. We're doing PFX Athletics. We're building that for her right now. And then we just did a Pro Teams store. They had a WordPress, but they wanted to sell stuff on there. So we built their store for them. And there's a lot of ways to make money. For instance,
you're becoming an agency.
Yeah, with that one, they send us all their product and we sell their product. We ship their product. And at the end of the month, since we collect it in our PayPal account, we send them their percentage that they get, and we have no inventory. That's like the best one of all. We keep 20% profit and the profit made on shipping, and we have no inventory cost. So that one's real. And the warehouse we have anyway, so it's just in the corner of our warehouse. So that's like the best thing I've ever done.
That is, that's really nice. I love what you're doing. All the different, it's sort of retail marketing is your branch. Plus you're creating a product now.
Yeah. I also own the largest wallpaper store in Texas too.
Oh, that's right. That's where it comes from. I've listened to your old shows.
Yeah.
Hey, you started out as a wallpaper guy
in 98. Gosh. 79.
And you competed and you yeah.
Yeah. I opened that store in 79, I guess. And I opened the softball store in 2000.
Yeah, I've heard. That's good. Good story. I had a design build construction up to 9/11, building subdivisions, custom homes, but I had 2 painters in house. I had 7 employees, and we played around with wallpaper a little bit.
Yeah, wallpaper has been very good to me.
And you still have the store, right?
Yeah, I don't go in it, but once every couple of weeks. But,
wow.
Yeah, I still have it. It's in the same parking lot as my softball store.
Okay. So when are you going to have the studio set up to do the Blab?
Well, today we're going over there. We're hoping we can pick up the Wi-Fi from either this store or my wallpaper store. That's what we're going over to test today. And
so you're using Wi-Fi without hardwiring it in?
That's what I'm doing now. I mean, I haven't had any problem at all. I haven't had my computer hooked up to.
I'm on Wi-Fi too, but my signal is coming right below me on a 2-story house. So it's pretty fascinating. What do you think Blab is going to do? Here, first of all, you got Rob Waltz coming on. When I interviewed Rob, and I put this up here, he would not come up on this show. He would not come up on YouTube because I was testing it on YouTube first. So we did the interview, and I recorded it on call recorder, and he wouldn't come up visually that day. And it's all over. And I've interviewed him a few times because I think he sees YouTube or these other elements as competition to his Lipson. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Rob's too worried about competition, to be honest with you now. I think there's a lot of people that would be that way, but Rob is pretty much, I don't know. I would have a hard time believing that about Rob.
No, I like Rob a lot. Yeah. I really, his book is fascinating.
Rob is like one of the, there are a lot of different camps in the world of stuff. There's some people that you shouldn't sell stuff, some people that you should, some people that you shouldn't market. Rob is not, he's like, let's keep everything like NPR. Let's all share. Let's kumbaya. Where to me, if it was my competitor, there's no way I would have I buy domain names just so my competitors can't have them.
I tell people if they want a podcast, go get a $5 Lipson account. Go get Rob's free book. I did it one weekend. That really gelled when I got printed out his book, highlighted it. I flew to Boston that weekend. And then I did a podcast and everything worked because I was scared of the RSS feeds, MP3. And I just used his system and it's just been flawless.
Have you seen my new book?
I bought it.
Thank you very much.
I bought that. You posted on Podcaster's Home. I bought it. Then a few minutes later, Steve Lee bought it. Steve Lee from National Podcast Day, which is on the 30th this month. He's running that. He's in charge. He's in Tehachapi. He's in California. He bought it. So at least 2 or 3 have come out of my my Facebook site.
I'd never really marketed a book trying to move it up the list, and someone told me early that day how to view it as to where it is ranking. I didn't know where to look to see how it ranked. So once I saw how it ranked, I said, well, gosh, I'll see if I can move this up in the top 10. And I think I got up there, in like 8 hours in 2 of the categories in top 10. I have a new book on the 15th that we're marketing about fast pitch softball. And now that I know how the scoop is, we'll get that one to number 1. I just didn't.
Well, we have a WordPress
don't know.
Podcast site. We just figured out how under the word WordPress in iTunes how to move it up. There's so many tricks out there.
Well, for instance, I have the fast pitch softball show, but it's always second to the guy who has the softball, and he hasn't had a show in 5 years. But iTunes sees that softball in the title. That title is very important in iTunes. Most people don't realize how important that is.
Just down below, you got your initial title. Well, here's the trick we just figured out. And I thought it had no precedence, but we figured this out from someone else, that right below it, it's got, what's the second line under Lipson? But fill that out.
Okay.
We weren't filling that out, and that made, you got the episode on top, the name, and then below it, there's another little line like alternate tag is what it is. That's important to fill that alternate tag out.
Are you just putting a show description in there, or
just put softball? It's the first word, dash, a couple other words, and call it a day.
Dash instead of commas?
Well, you can use slash, dash, commas.
Okay.
They all mean the same thing. A dash. I'd use a dash, I think.
I'll go back and do it to all of them then.
Just test it. It's a testing process.
I'll just go do it all of them. Heck, it won't take 5 minutes for them to do it. I don't have time to test. I could go ahead and do them all.
With your book, I haven't, my Kindle, I haven't pulled that out since I was in Afghanistan. Yours is all, I bought it for 99 cents. I like support folks too. And it's on the Kindle, right? What's the other way to view Kindle? I guess I can go up on Amazon and view it.
Kindle app for your iPhone or tablet.
Yeah, I read your first few pages. It looked really good and laid out. Now, how many people do you have working for you there?
Just one that works on, I have one that works on my social media for me, and then one that works on my WooCommerce stores, putting items on there. and then one that helps with images from time to time. Then everybody else works in the store basically, or taking orders on the sites.
How are you going to, you got to have somebody dedicated to help people put up the website, their website.
Yeah, that's what I do.
You do it yourself?
Yeah.
Wow, that's just like me.
Yeah.
You're a jack of all. You're like me. That's hard to do. Hard to have the time to do all that.
People have more time than they realize. People don't take advantage of their time. A lot of people think their time's too valuable. A lot of people go, I wouldn't work for that, but they'll sit on the couch eating chips, watching TV. But that time,
where do you host?
I host at Libsyn.
I mean, no, that's host for podcasts, but for your websites, who are you recommending hosting?
I just use I just have a server I rent from GoDaddy. Not a shared server. But
right.
I haven't really ever had any. People can bitch about them all the time, but I've had a server with them since 96. I've never had any problems.
I can't tell you the local businessmen who've like contracted out to India for their website, trying to go on the cheap and the commerce, and have lost their domain names. I've helped them get them back. Oh, what a pain.
Yeah, no, I do have a guy in India that I have come in and do some grunt work for me from time to time.
No,
I have a long relationship with him.
Yeah, they've just gone online though and got these guys. But you're hosting bottom line is you're hosting inside the United States with a reputable.
Yeah,
host.
And then we have a Wild West account for our domains. Are you familiar with Wild West?
No, no.
Well, you have a lot of people sell those GoDaddy referral accounts, but GoDaddy also has Wild West accounts.
Okay.
You pay them $200 a year to sell domain names, and then you make money off the renewals. You make money off eternity, not just the first initial. And I have like 800 domains, so I make enough off my own domains that
you got the disease.
For the Wild West service, but Wild West account, and then when other people buy Wild West accounts off your Wild West accounts, you make a percentage of every domain they sell forever. So it's a pretty good way. It's much better to me than the referral program.
I use GoDaddy. I've got about 30 or 40 plus domains at GoDaddy, and then I point them over to Bluehost, and I use Cloudflare.
Yeah, well, I point mine all somewhere too. Like, for instance, though, but it's a lot of times like, 3 or 4 years ago, they came up with face guards that softball players wear.
Mm-hmm.
So there were probably 20 different domain names that could have to do with that product. So I get all 20. Like I said, I don't want my competitors having them. And then I point 20 of those to the same website.
I don't know if you want to talk about price, but I have the where you pay a flat fee, and then I get all my domains at the same price.
Yeah, we sell them for $8.95.
Yeah, I'm paying the same price.
You don't pay any fee. I just sell them for $8.95. So
no, it's good.
I don't make a lot. I make like $1 or $2, but
that's cheap. If you're selling them for that, that's really cheap to sell.
You get a couple thousand people, because most people renew them over and over and over. So it's not like you lose a lot of business. So I'm not making a ton, but I'm planning on the long run. And it's at
GoDaddy's normally selling them for about $14 if you buy just one without.
That's where they're at. If you ever want to take a look, I think when I log into it, it looks like they're $8.95. Click on that and see how much it says they are.
I am. I love how you can click back and forth, open up a new tab.
Yeah, see if I'm right on that. But I think we sell them for $8.95.
Let me see. Is that hosted at GoDaddy?
Yeah, that's a GoDaddy. It's just the reseller account.
Yes, that $8.95. That's a really fair price.
It's a reseller account instead of a referral account. I think I make like $1.50. So, but I make $1.50 off thousands of websites, and every year, when they refer, I make the $1.50 again. So yeah, I put it at the lowest price you could sell them at. So I don't market it very heavily because, I use it for my websites, so I make money off myself rather than someone making money off of me.
So do you have on the back side, do they have the GoDaddy panel behind it?
Yeah, it's a GoDaddy account. It's just a different GoDaddy account than the one you're using. But it's a GoDaddy account for sure. It's the same thing when you get in there. And you call the phone number on there, it answers at GoDaddy. They're the ones, they have a help number, that's on the top of the site. Call that, people from GoDaddy answer.
So it's like a white label.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. And if you, I've had it for, I guess 8 years now, So if you ever decide you want to transfer them and quit paying that fee, go ahead. It's not going up.
That's cheap. That you're renewing them at that price too?
Yeah, yeah. I think when you transfer them, though, you have to get 2 years, buy 2 years worth.
Yeah,
is what they do. But yeah, it's been that price for, like I said, for I don't know how many years I've had this site, and I got a lot of people that buy their domains there and renew them. The thing is, people renew their domains. It's not like
Go
ahead.
You're doing what I want to do in the long run, not just the domains, but your digital marketing world. You're online. You're taking your now. Have you done anything with wallpaper online?
Yeah. That was my first website. I had probably the first website for wallpaper.
That's right. But have you done anything with the podcasting wallpaper?
No, I can't.
Too niche.
I'm not in that on a day-to-day business good enough. We have started doing a weekly video with my wife, reviewing a wallpaper book, but we just started doing that 3 weeks ago. So that's kind of new to us. So I just go over there with my iPhone and then edit it up to a video, and we put it on her Facebook page.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can do with iPhone. I know you're using like all the different medias too. You're using Periscope.
Right. I was experimenting with Periscope, but I kind of got bored with that. And so now I'm into Blab.
Well, I think Blab is going to just sort of they're going to, they'll be doing stuff on here. And
yeah. I think people who are on Periscope are just diehards. I think sooner or later they're going to come over, and I don't know though. Like I said, I'm just not personally into Periscope. I like Blab. I see the potential for this right away.
Mm-hmm. For podcast, just to record a podcast.
Right.
I'm worried about losing a podcast. I think I'm getting more trust now, not losing it, because you can accidentally, if you don't know what you're doing, shut yourself down.
Yes, I've done that.
I've done it too.
But what's so good about this though, Bill, is that if you're interviewing someone and you have a crowd watching you, you can sometimes get better questions out of the forum, than you had for your next question. Like
that's a great idea.
Because, maybe halfway through, you're starting to get questions that you're going, okay, these questions, I got all my good ones out of the way. And then you look over there and someone will go, wow. You go, wow, that's a great question. I didn't even think about that. Because the people listening are following the conversation maybe better than you are, because you're not only following it, but you're like looking at your questions, thinking what you're going to do, running things, where the person listening, he's focused 100%. So I found that that this is just such a great medium, because I have 10, 20 people helping me, come up with questions.
Hey, do you have time to come up tonight and do a show? I'd love to do. I know you're on a night.
No, I am. I don't mind. And I don't mind doing shows. I told you I like it. I just hate to commit and not follow through. I'll tell you what time are you thinking?
Anytime. I have an interview here. I'm Pacific time, so at 6:00 I have an interview. I'll be done at 7. So anytime after 7, which you're 2 hours ahead of me, 8, 9.
Yeah, I probably could do it at like. So you'll be through at 9.
Yes.
Yeah, I probably could do it at like 9. That sounds fine.
Let's shoot it for 9:15 to come on.
Okay.
And I'll put up I'll market it. I'll put it up. The only thing you need to sort of glance at ahead of time is I ask you, and this is a core element. We're going to do the interview about you, and then the second part will be your 7 or 8 life or success principles. And if you go up on my link,
7 or 8 of those.
Well, do me a favor. Go up on success principles, which I'm going to change them to life principles. Just look at those and think about like business principles, how you run a business. And if you don't have 7 or 8, that's fine. If you got 3 or 4, that'll work.
Yeah, I don't know that I have any.
I'm sure you have some. Like, for example, work hard, focus, make sure you pay your bills.
Well, those are just common sense. So I don't really.
Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily. They're just, if you go into, I've got a really easy worksheet. If you just pick some of those out. And what I've done is I've added those. Do you set goals?
No, I don't. I never have.
See, I used to build houses. I used to schedule stuff.
My wife's real big at that. I just, I've never been able to get around to doing that. Yeah, I'm kind of like the perfect example of what you shouldn't do.
Well, you're paying the bills.
Yeah, I've been able to make it work though. Yeah,
to me, the most
very easily. I mean, that's not an issue.
The most important principle as an entrepreneur is make enough cash to pay your bills. That's why some people have to go work for people who just can't run a business.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. Well, a lot of people just can't make themselves work.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got everything filled out here.
Okay.
And
That's
And the principles we're going to have a hard time with. So I think that I can come up with those on the fly, though.
okay. What I like to do is just if you could write them down ahead of time so we can just go over them, then we'll talk about those. But some people, one guy have a messy desk.
I have a completely messy desk.
And there's a few people that I looked that up. Trump believes in that too.
Well, good. My wife will be happy to know that.
He doesn't like if the desk's too clean, you're not working hard enough or fast enough. That you improved your color with whatever you just did. Texture.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you just changed the lighting. It came out.
I see that.
Better.
That's weird. It's
Did you change something?
I don't know what happened. All I did was upload a image to your thing here.
That's interesting. It really came in. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do editing right now for the rest of the day. And I've got a mixed bag right now. I still work a little bit overseas, and I'm coming up on a time frame where I have to make a decision. So I may try to record enough shows to just have them go up while I'm gone.
Okay, I've got your whole thing filled out, and I put 4 principles on there.
Okay, that's good. That's enough.
And we can go from there. Okay, so it's 9:15 my time, right?
Yeah, 9:15 your time, and I'll set it up ahead of time, and I'll send you the link.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks, Gary. I'm going to sign off now, too.
I am, too. I need to go over there. I was on here way longer than I planned.
Well, thank you very
have
much.
A good day.